Okay, so we're going to start shading these forms. I've got a sphere, cylinder, cone, and a cube. If you can shade these basic geometric forms, you can really shade anything that you're trying to draw from observation. I've got a couple references here. The light source is going to be coming like up from this corner here, right? So I know that on my sphere, as I start shading, and as you see, I'm using my lighter pencil, my HB, and I'm not going to push very hard. I'm going to move my hand across the curve of the sphere. So I'm transforming my two-dimensional circle shape into a three-dimensional form by applying the value. So my first layer here, I've kind of blocked in this really subtle transition of a lighter spot here. And I'm going to push a little bit harder. And I'm starting to move my pencil in this little circular motion. And I'm pushing a little harder across this form, the lower left end here, which is opposite of where the light is, so it's going to be the darker value. And then I'm going to look at my source, got this photo here, to see the shape of the shadow. Right, shadows are all about angles and the angle of the sun in relation to the object. So if you're trying to do this from your imagination and from your mind, you might end up with a really funky looking cast shadow. So if you look at a source, you can get that elliptical shape. And then I'm going to push a little harder here. And you see I left this little bit of a light, almost a line, right next to the cast shadow and this darker shadow, and that kind of captures the reflected light. So this is a good first layer, blocking in where the lights and darks are with just one pencil. Now I can use my next lead up, the 2B, which is a softer lead, so it's a little bit darker. Take a look at my source here. I'm looking at a couple of different sources actually, and I've got this one. Studying from drawings is actually really helpful. On this drawing, you could actually see the contour lines in the direction that this artist moved their pencil, right, versus the super smooth. And also looking at objects from life. So I'm going to add a little darker shadow. And I'm going to start moving my pencil again in that circular motion. That'll create a tonal quality. It's more blended. You don't see all the strokes. And then if you get your form to the place where it's too dark, it's not as much of a gradient, you can use an eraser to lighten some of that transition. Some people like to use their finger to smudge the graphite around, but you can also use the tortillon. A little pressure, a circular motion all the way along. I'm going to erase that highlight more. And that's starting to look a little more three-dimensional. Okay? And my motions the whole time were kind of curved. And even when I was doing my hatching, they were curved cross contour lines, and then the circular motion to blend it out. Okay. Let's do the cylinder. This is where using that gradient technique that we practiced the first day is super handy. I'm going to push hard along this edge, and I'm going to slowly lift, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Start with the edge and blend like the dark edge into the light edge, lifting the tool, lifting the graphite. So I've just, with my number 2 pencil, pushing hard at the edge, and then practicing that smooth blend from either end, created the value scale that looks like the parts of light and shadow. So there's a highlight, low light, shadow, coarse shadow. One more thing that can help finish this up is, well, the edges down here, the cross contour, the curved contour line. Right. A little bit of that curved matching. Of course, if I go a little slower, blend it out. And then you can erase the highlight back in where you want it. Now with the cylinder, I can make this top look like it's a flat closed form, or I can make it look like a cylinder or a vase. I like to start with my edge, define my edge. And I can go with this contour, this outer contour here. Make that darker. So from like dark to light, using this outer edge as my main contour, makes the form look like it's hollow and there's an opening. Also, I'm going to add the cast shadow. As you see, I used my ebony pencil on this just now for those darker values, and I did not do that for this. So for this study in your sketchbook, you really want to push the contrast so it looks more like this with the highlight, low light, shadow, coarse shadow, cast shadows with a full range of values, like 5 to 6 to 10, you know, if you look all across different values. So what I can do to fix this guy up is just crisp up the edge, lock it in, and then add some more of this darker value and that core shadow, the darkest part of the form, the shadow side of the form. And then if it creates too much of an edge, I'm just going to blend that dark value in to the form a little bit more. And I'm going to move my tool cross contour. Use my finger a little bit. And then there, you know, the values are starting to match a little bit. So here's sphere and cylinder. Next we'll look at the cone and the cube.